measurements or acres and ownership to a parcel. So
Yes.
you zoom in.
I can zoom in, and we have the TMK layer, which is the parcel fabric layer. And so if there's a specific TMK, you can search for it, or you can go straight to it, and then there's the details of that. And let me get to, is there a specific TMK you have an interest in, or can I just look at a random one?
Well, yeah, hey, there's one, 217056.
Hold on.
Curious, that's why. It's just cool.
Okay, you said 217, so that includes.
056. It's above the. Am I missing other digits before the 56? That would be the location.
So
217. Do we have
do you
the?
know where it is around there?
Yeah. When you zoom down, there's the point. You see what that huge bay is? There, right there. Where that is? You go across the road. There you see the
Across the
highway.
road?
There you see that small little square, right smack there.
Okay, so this is the what, schoolhouse?
That was the old Kīpuka schoolhouse location.
Okay.
So I'm curious, who owned it before?
Yeah, well, that.
If it went that far.
But we link in for every TMK to a property report, and this is important for our, so this is just the county's property report.
Oh,
This
council.
is important for our compliance as part of the research they do as to whether or not we make comment. So a plat map as well. So the
Oh,
county
okay.
report won't have previous owners, but it'll show all current owners. It'll show
Oh.
tax information and then conveyance information as well. So there was a conveyance. It was sold in 2008 for $0.
2008. Wow.
That's what it says. And it was sold in 1996 also for $0. Probably to conservation.
Okay, because I live on that parcel.
Oh, yeah.
And
Are you
the
sure
thing
these
was,
are-
when I went into Zillow, you know what? They made the house at $5 million in value. And I'm like, wait, what? No, not the way I see it. You know what I mean? Like, no go telling me and putting one price on our house. But I was just curious too, because we were wondering who was the owners previous, because the issue here is that we have Hui. As you can tell, there's a lot of names there. Okay, and we're realizing what movements is going on, that it's probably not our property. Probably will go
Yes.
to the person that had it in the very beginning. So that's where we're kind of curious how we can look into the research
So-
of it all.
Title searches currently,
Mhm.
like a title company will search from modern times back in time. So you can trace the ownership changes. But when they do encounter like a cloudy title or a break-in title, you know, they'll just process that as they do. But for our needs, we're interested in that title from the beginning of time as far as private property goes towards the future, towards the current time. And so when there's something that's not adding up, then that's where we understand that there's something that's going on that can be investigated. So that's why we're mapping out those first titles of land as shown in the land awards.
Cool.
But we don't go back in time. We don't
Shucks.
we take the first title, and then if you know title search, then you can start your research from there at the Bureau of Conveyance. So our idea is that we can start having people start getting the questions they need to ask.
The right
The
questions to
beginning-
ask.
Exactly, because if you don't know, if you don't have the capabilities to just do title searching, which many people don't, and I don't even know if you have classes for that, but should. At least this is like a beginning to that research, a good place to start. And you don't have to fly to Oahu, dig through some records.
That's the pain in the butt. Yeah.
So are there any questions about Kīpuka as anything to say or ask?
So when you speak of different aina and information, is there also information about cultural, historical relevance or mo'olelo around those places or spaces?
The idea is that behind the development of this is to kind of bake into it that sense of place, that's interrelated cultural aspects. In reality, all we are really set up with is those land awards and what historic sites we have. But it's sort of built as a repository for that. If we had a team of 10 people, you know, working on this, we could be finding those stories, adding it in. It's all kind of available to populate with information. So if there was a place that a class was studying and came up with these stories, they found the winds and the names of the winds and the rains and everything of the place, they could presumably add that into the database, and that would make a fuller picture of the area, which was the purpose of, one of the many purposes of Kīpuka database. Yes, please.
Sorry, my voice is a little raspy today. Aloha kako.
Aloha.
So you guys kind of, slowing down a little bit, but before class ends, I wanted to ask you guys or ask you folks why you would use Papakilo or Kīpuka databases in the current research that you're doing. For what use?
Kuleana land.
Kuleana.
Well, he mentioned about about showing the different land things, and when I asked about the boroughs, it's because there's areas such as the stretch between Ma'alaya to Waihe'e that contain over 1,100 burials. And even if we didn't mark the individual one, which I would not do, but could we get a map layer that
Designated as a zone.
Yes,
Yeah.
because when he was talking about like requiring additional EIS, then that information would be pertinent to requiring an additional EIS.
Okay. So I heard land, I heard
Burials.
understanding ibikupuna. What else? Why else would you use Papakilo and Kīpuka for? Just from the very brief presentation. Ohana, Mahipana. So all of these things, these are reoccurring themes of general land research, right? And yes, we have these two databases to support the work that we do here at OHA and to help us make our decisions. But on the outward-facing side, for our beneficiaries, really what we're trying to do is just providing folks with the tools to become better researchers. And you guys are in the perfect position as students here at the college, as well as the community members to really utilize and maximize the potential of these databases. One of the questions that was asked was, is there any cultural relevance, or how can I find the cultural attributes within these systems? And this is all through land research, right? So one of the tips that I like to do is combining different databases. And Ulukau, how many of you are familiar with Ulukau? This is not an OHA product, but it works, it pairs really, really well with Papakilo. So if you go to Ulukau and you go to Kekahi and you go to Inoa Aina, you can also translate this, change it to English just in case you guys, for our non-Ololo Hawaii people. But if you go to browse, and you can search them by island. You click on any island. I'm from Molokai, so I'm gonna choose Molokai. You can then search by Apupua'a, or you can search by features. But if I click on the Apupua'a layer or button, it'll show you every single Apupua'a on that island. Okay. If I click on the Apupua'a, I want to click on Halawa. It'll further break down all of the different features within Halawa. So when we talk about features, we're really talking about Wahipana. We're talking about place names. We're talking about specific features on the Aina that make it important. When we look at things, right, our kupuna did not give something a name for nothing. It has a name because it's representative of either the environment or a specific event, a historical person, or the resources found in that location, right? So when you talk about cultural relevancy, it's within the names. And so we have this list. It can list it out on Ulukau, but when I pair Ulukau, when when I pair urukau, come on. How do I get out of this group? With Kīpuka. Remember how Zach was showing you folks the different layers within Kīpuka? One of those layers try this again, sorry. Okay. If I wanna zoom in to an island, right? You guys see all of the triangles and the stars?
Yeah.
Those are the features listed here on Urukau. So I know the name, I know where to find it. If I click on the name, it'll tell me this is in Ili Aina. Okay, what else can you tell me about it? It's giving me the lexicology. What could the possible interpretation of the meaning of the name be? And then you can then make the interpretation of what the significance of this feature is, of this wahipana, of this place. So when you, land research is really about putting together different pieces of the puzzle. So Kīpuka is one piece of the puzzle, Papakilo is another piece of the puzzle, and it's up to you folks as researchers to go and find the other missing links. In land research, we like to generally give other resources. The Bureau of Conveyance is an awesome resource. Bishop Museum, they have lots of, and like Colin mentioned, the work with Papakilo is really trying to partner with these different archival institutions to make these resources available to you folks. But in the meanwhile, we want to have you guys, empower you folks to have the confidence to go to these repositories and search for yourself. Another cool feature that Zach didn't really get to go into showing. Okay, so we're looking at comparing now. If you click on this info, this I, and you click on any parcel, right? It'll pull up this ahupua'a. If you go to links to other records, it'll pull up the boundary certificate, boundary commission notes. It'll even pull up if there are LCAs, the actual award, the native register, the foreign register. If you click on this links to other records tab, this is like the kind of the secret, the gem, the tricks and the tips and tricks of using Kīpuka. And really within the boundary certificates and the survey is where you learn about those different place names, where you learn about the people who lived there and what they stewarded. So you can go ahead and read through all the different notes. But the key, the ultimate key to land research, anybody want to take a guess? The key to unlocking land research here in Hawaii is Olelo Hawaii. And I really encourage you guys to do your best that you possibly can in this pop-up and to continue to elevate your Olelo Hawaii skills, because when it comes down to understanding land research, the pala that you will need to read and the newspapers are all Olelo Hawaii. And those are where what did he use? The nuggets. The golden nuggets are found. It's within the newspapers, the Hawaiian language newspapers. It's within these Hawaiian language documents of land transactions. So I really encourage you guys to continue your journey in Olelo Hawaii and see the value, right? So I can read the documents, I know what the documents are saying, I understand the place, the name, why it's named this way, because of the different pairing of Hawaiian words. And you better understand the significance of an area, right? And what is the purpose of doing land research? What is the purpose of doing land research? Unless you're a land researcher that gets paid to do it.
Restoration.
Restoration.
Identity.
Ohana, identity. Bottom line is, how can you malama something that you know nothing about? Right? How can you malama something you know nothing about? That is the same for us here at the Office of Hawaiian Affairs. How can we malama our beneficiaries if we don't understand our the land bases to support our lahuli? Same for you and your ohana. find those places that your ohana is from, connect back to your genealogy, go and learn about those places. What are the features that make that place unique? How did your ohana interact with those features? It connects you back to a deeper understanding of sense of place, and really sense of who you are. And one more tip, sorry, I know you guys passed call at 2:30 out. One more tip when using Papakilo database that I like to use often in the newspaper feature. So you can search newspapers. Where do I go for that? Newspapers. If I go search newspapers, I can, right here, see browse newspapers by date. This, if you browse it, and I find this easier for me, right, as a researcher. You go and find your own methods and techniques of researching, but this one works for me. If I want to find something in the newspaper, I usually go to browse by date, because then I can figure out, okay, what VA or what time period am I looking to be researching? Okay. If I'm gonna select a specific year, okay, so it looks like, oh, in 1848, never have any publications of any newspapers in April, May, and November. I wonder why. Same thing in 1849, September, October, November, December, no more nothing. It could be that, or it could just be that we haven't acquired a collection to populate those dates yet. But know that this database is constantly being updated, and just because you can't find it today doesn't mean it might not be available next week. But okay, so continuing on this rabbit hole, I select the date, then I can look, oh, in September only have Ka'elele Hawaii, one issue on September 18th. And then it'll show you on your contents page the different pages and the titles of those artikala, the titles of the articles, right? If I want to go see Make Kamoana, what happened there? I can actually go, and you see the scissors. If I click on that, it'll click just that article for me. And it provides my citation. And this is what type of resources? Reference? Primary resource. So primary resource, so don't forget your citation. And then another cool trick, if you are not about to print this and collect 500 pieces of color, you can also, if you right click, or not, control, yep, and if I go to print, don't go save as, go print, then you see save as PDF. If you click save, you can now save this entire artikala with the citation straight to your desktop. Right, isn't it? As a researcher, to be able to do that instead of writing down, okay, what day, what was the topic, blah, blah, blah. You can file it then within your own system as such. So it makes things really easy. But to pick it up or not,